This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Yes, good Saturday morning, another pre-10 a.m. Eastern edition, which means I had to wipe the sleep out of my eyes and say, it's Memorial Day weekend. I got to deal with this guy again, the Coach Ed Young. We welcome you to another installment of 757 Saturday Sports Talk, powered by all the great folks at Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel. We're also available to listen to on Apple and Spotify, virginiapreps.com. IG Live or my Instagram at Hatfield Sports 2K4, Twitter or X at 757 Sports Talks. You can follow Ed on Facebook. I don't think he's quite on X or Twitter. He is on Instagram, and he's going to one day divulge or reveal or unveil his account where you can follow him, and maybe he'll interact with you through those channels. We got all kinds of things going on, Ed. We got the Indy 500, the Coca-Cola 600. We got NBA and NHL Conference Finals. I'm already mad about one of those. We'll get to that later in the show. Baseball, who doesn't love baseball? It's kind of that marking point in the baseball season when you have Memorial Day weekend. And, oh, by the way, we have hot dog eating contests too.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning to all. The hot dog contest would be last on my list. I'm not a hot dog connoisseur. And I can't watch some guys eat that stuff and drink the water and stuff the buns down. I just can't do all that mess. Sometimes somebody asked me one time if I was ever going to enter an eating a certain food contest, what would it be? I think it would be pizza.
Pizza.
I think pizza would be the food I would try to eat a lot of. Okay. And be sick like crazy at the end.
Maybe one of our sponsors, which is Chicho's Pizza, can do a Chicho's Pizza eating contest with you, and 4 or 5 of our friends that we know can throw down some pizza, and other people that want to win a prize, that type of thing. And I haven't forgotten you, by the way. I am going to get you your $100,000. I'm still working on that. For those who don't know, I lost a wager to Ed $100,000. It was a friendly gentleman's agreement, but it was through the mock draft we did. Maybe we'll double down, double or nothing for the NBA draft. Although you don't have $100,000 to lose, so
I'll just like all the other bets you've lost, I won't see it.
Yeah. We have some special guests joining us in a little bit later on in the show. We'll be hearing from the Monter Draft News and college basketball news' very own Chris Monter, who was in Minnesota in the arena for game. I might even put up the picture he sent me if I can somehow figure out how to load it up here, which it can't be too difficult. The picture he sent me for last night's Wolves and Mavericks game. We're also going to talk some high school baseball playoffs because playoffs are underway in high school baseball, and the scouting director for Prep Baseball VA, Jason Burton, is slated to join us as well. That'll be at about 9:30 Eastern. So for all you high school baseball fans, I know we've actually scrolled on the ticker some of the baseball results. I see one of the reigning state champs, New Kent, is out. Lafayette knocked them out. Got a game that will resume today at high noon at Indian River in Region 5A that got suspended due to weather, as did some other games. That involves the Cox Falcons, who won the state championship just a calendar year ago, and the First Colonial Patriots. So a lot to go over with all of you today on today's program. We'll give you buy or sell, which we haven't done in a while. We did over or under last week. I've done some other things on the program lately, but a lot to go through. And even we'll sprinkle in maybe 1 or 2 more of our interviews we've got with high school football players, because it'll be here before you know it. I mean, football's coming fast and furious. We've caught up with a bunch of players in recent weeks. You've heard from Marcus Hobson of Phoebus. You've also heard from Oscar Smith's Jamari Deloach, who got the invite to the U.S. Army All-American game. By the way, Messiah Delome of Warwick, who we played his interview last week, prior to his unfortunate injury, he got the invite. I just found out to the U.S. Army All-American game, so that's great to see for him. He had a Newport News. We also played the clip with Jaden Anderson, Virginia Tech commit of Green Run. Maury defensive edge rusher Ari Watford, who's going to Clemson. We actually had an interview a couple weeks prior to that with LeBron Bond, the wide receiver from Maury, who's going to Indiana. If you missed any of those, it's all available on our YouTube page with Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. You'll find out all of that. It's up there on virginiapreps.com too. But you'll get notifications when we go live with anything at the PLEX or in other locations like we are today whether it's involving the live soccer action, VB United, field hockey, football, lacrosse, you name it. You'll get notifications we go live with anything, and also including the Tides Talk podcast, the 757 Lacrosse Hour with Coach H and Hargrave, all kinds of things we have growing and blossoming with all of you here as we approach our 1-year Annie with the great folks from Hometown Sports Productions and Cova Sports TV. But, Ed, I want to know real quickly before we go any further, you have any plans for Memorial Day weekend? It looks like you're not in another state. You see, I'm in my mansion without air conditioning, by the way. You can't see I'm without air conditioning, but I'll tell you, no AC in the Hatfield mansion, which means I've got to find a way to really, really break into my neighbor's pool today. Have to.
Yeah, you all that money in a piano and fireplace and that, and you can't get working air
we can
conditioning.
get heat. We got fire. That can happen. I can go turn the fireplace on.
Unbelievable. I'm sitting in the living room of my home, and I'll be out and about this evening. We'll put it that way, and then I'm hoping to be on the grill
he's got
tomorrow.
A hot date. It means he's got a hot date, ladies and gents.
And
by the way, you know who's watching the show?
I hope a lot of people.
Well, but I can see on Instagram who's watching, and I don't know if he's still watching. He might have turned off by now because he got tired of you. Speaking of baseball, you're a good pal and diehard, once upon a time Indians, now Guardians fan, Mark Stufel, I see on Instagram is watching us. So shout out to Mark. We love Coach Stufel, former baseball coach and a very, very good one at Nansemond River High School. How about that?
Yeah, he left too soon, way too soon. He's still got a lot. He is helping out with the softball team, I'm pretty sure, over there at Nansemond River, but he left the baseball dugout too soon. He's got a lot to give, and I've been enjoying some of his old coaching in the coaching box stuff. I got to send that to you. I think I did send one to you, Mark Stufel, coaching young kids. Can't really put it on the podcast live.
Yeah, you have a lot of videos that you send that have some, let's say, colorful language and interesting interactions. But so do I, and we can't put some of those on the show.
Yeah, the ones I have with Stufel back in the day kind of surprised me. I didn't know he gets that crazy, but he's a very successful coach, winning 72% of his games. So
that's pretty good.
He finds ways to get these young fellas to do what he can do, but he's a son of a gun on them in them coaching boxes, boy. It's good. Then I found one of Tom Lau.
Did you say 72%, by the way?
I think it was 72%.
That means he's got you beat by 7.3% because you were 64.7%.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's around 70, 71, 72%. He's pretty good.
He's got you beat. But he's not alone. Go ahead. Continue on.
No, but I'm saying, and then his good buddy, our good buddy Tom Lau, father of Brandon Lau, who just finally got activated by the Rays, trying to get over the injury bug. Tom did some coaching in the boxes too, and there's some crazy stuff. But we'd have to do a lot of bleeps if we put it on here.
A lot of bleeps. Okay, interesting. Well, again, a lot happening in the world of sports. Are we allowed to, since you're not going to divulge where you're going on your Memorial Day weekend travels, what you did on Friday night on your Memorial Day weekend as you kicked it off?
No, I can't really divulge that either.
Man, you give us nothing on this show.
Yeah, it's kind of, what they call.
Why do we have you? You give us nothing.
It's what they call incognito. I was incognito last night.
It means you were somewhere you weren't supposed to be. That's what it means.
Yeah, you can almost say that. I was out and about, and we'll leave it at that. Got home, great time. I was home in bed, so I'm doing good.
Well, someone wants to know, Ed Young didn't get the Scott Scheffler treatment on Friday night, did he?
No, I don't play golf.
No, that's not what they mean. That means you went to the Slammer. You didn't go to the Slammer, did you?
No, I've never been to Slammer, knock on something and everything, and I plan on going into Slammer, and I'm not going to do something crazy in the car, being a driver's ed instructor, which I would lose my license, not just my driving license, but teaching driver's ed if I get in that kind of a situation. So, no.
Okay. Just wondering. We all wonder from time to time. Old Dominion Baseball, they're done. They fell to James Madison, as you see scrolling across our ticker, 15-5 in an elimination game in the Sun Belt tournament. Dukes march on. And by the way, interesting little nugget, as you'll see it scroll across our ticker with Ed's dog barking because he hasn't been fed or let out. See, I get up early at crack of dawn and I take my 3 puppies, Sassy, Snuggles, and Reese, out. Coach Marlon Eikenberry, who played for ODU's Chris Finwood, got his 500th career win, by the way. So kudos to him as the Dukes. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on which side of the ledger you are in terms of rooting interest, if you're a JMU fan like my dad, Mike Hatfield, proud 77 class of 77 JMU alum, who will rejoin us on 757 Saturday Sports Talk for his Father's Day Fact or Fiction with Ed Young. He's already preparing. He asked me the other day, how are we going to do this now since it's not on rare? I said, we'll do like we did. Well, in Charlottesville, he was able to join me live when I was at state football championships, but we'll get him on a computer and set him up. We better set him up properly, because if the computer's not working right, he might slam some things and say some colorful things on our podcast, which we don't want, that to happen and cross the line. But nonetheless, where was I? I got all sidetracked when I brought that up. What was I talking about? Lost my train of thought.
I'm not sure where you're all over
the ledger, the side of ledger. You don't know where I'm going. Yeah. He don't know where I'm going. No, the ODU JMU baseball. If you're rooting for JMU, you're happy they move on. If you're rooting for ODU, you're sad. The Dukes continue to dominate in the Town Bank Royal Rivalry Challenge. So there you have it. You as you said last week, you don't get a ton into the college baseball. So what is your bucket list for the viewing pleasure, the sports pleasure? We don't have any horses this week for you as far as the Triple Crown goes. Derby, Preakness, Belmont. Oh, here we go. Go ahead. Chime in on what you did last week. Go ahead. Didn't win.
Not many people did. Well, who was the winner? Something Gray. Somebody about Gray. I had number 2 and 3.
Mystic Dan won the Derby. The Preakness winner was Seize the Gray.
Seize the Gray, who I did not pick at all.
And I will tell you that the Belmont winner will be neither one of those horses. I won't tell you who's going to win it, but I can tell you it won't be one of those 2 horses.
I had Mystic Dan winning again. And I think Catching Freedom I had in there. But Mystic Dan and Catching Freedom, and they ended up 2nd and 3rd. So, and in my wager, because it's legal, I had them win, play, show in any order. So I get credit for 2 of the 3 horses that crossed the line among everybody else. So, and the same thing happened in the Derby. I just can't pick the winner, but I can get the other 2 in there. Just got to figure out how to pick the winner.
Okay.
I might go with Catching Freedom to win the Memorial Day, the 500.
You're going to go with Catching Freedom to win the what'd you say?
I might go with Catching Freedom to win the Indy 500.
Okay, you do that. And when you're wrong on that, you can join the rest of people that are wrong on that. We've got part of our buy or sell will involve the Indy 500 and Coca-Cola 600, because I'm starting up on my racing. I'm not quite where our man Nick Senti is on the prognosticating with the races. And you got one race, and now because you got one NASCAR race right, you think you can predict them all, which is far from the truth. So, but I've been brushing up on it. I think I might hit one of those 2. One of the 2. I'm not sure I'll hit both, but I think I can hit one of the 2 before we bid adieu on this edition of the podcast. Did you watch any baseball in the last couple of nights, or the basketball playoffs, or the hockey playoffs?
Yankees. I didn't watch the basketball last night.
You watched the Yankees?
Caught all the highlights. Been watching some baseball, but most of the Yankees. My Yankees are doing fairly well. And the trio of Judge, Soto, and Stanton all went yard. I think it was last night. And the basketball, I know we're going to talk more about it. And I had Boston and Minnesota winning in 6. And some people are now saying it could be sweeps by Dallas and Boston based on what people are seeing. I don't think Dallas is sweeping Minnesota in any regards. Boston could sweep Indy. The next game is pivotal for Indy. To me, it's a must win. And Boston is playing well, mostly behind Jaylen Brown. Tatum is doing okay, but it's mostly Jaylen Brown show. I'm a little disappointed in the T-Wolves. I thought T-Wolves would definitely win at least one of these first two games. And last night's game was, based on what I'm seeing and hearing, a tremendous game. But Minnesota doesn't quite look like the team that knocked Denver out of the playoffs.
Maybe they're having a hangover effect,
it's almost like, okay, we did something great now, so even if we lose now, we're still great. I don't know.
Maybe Ant Edwards is getting worn out, and these young kids that are 23, 24, 25 years of age get this far in the playoffs. They don't have the same level of – and let me just say this, because I'm gonna get people upset on this, I'm sure. People need to be consistent in the media with their critique, with their criticisms. You know, when the Celtics lose or don't play up to level, we want to run them over with a tractor trailer, Jason Tatum, who's one of the best young stars in the league. When Ant Edwards doesn't play well, he's tired, he's fatigued, and unbelievable how great Kyrie and Luka are. What's the difference here? Well, it's his first rodeo. He deserves a pass. Well, hold on now. He stunk up the joint last night. I know he was great with his gaze, and he did the whole bring your tail to Minnesota. I won't use the word he used with Barkley, but it's amazing how, and then the Pacers, we want to eviscerate for their, and they deserve to be eviscerated to an extent. Rick Carlisle for the fourth, not first, not second, not three, fourth time in the playoffs, electing not to foul up 3. And Tyrese Halliburton's miscues, and he's also FaceTiming the girlfriend from the locker room. What in the world? I don't think Ed Young would let one of his players FaceTime from the locker room. But then we say, when Minnesota, we'll give you a pass. It's all right. Y'all beat the Nuggets, defending champ. You guys are good. We'll give you a pass. All's forgiven. All's forgiven. Like, come on now. We got to be a little more consistent in our analysis, objectivity, our assessment of what is transpiring in this world of sports, particularly when it comes to the postseason series. I shake my head at that a little bit. I mean, you know, again, the team hasn't won the Toronto Maple Leafs, or if Edmonton with Draisaitl and McDavid, two of the best hockey stars in the sport, don't get to the mountaintop, we're quick to bring them down. But if, you know, the Rangers are it's nice to give you a clap on the hands. Wait a second. I don't think we're fair across the board. And listen, I'll be the first to admit, Nuggets, great champions last year. Nikola Jokic, wonderful. That was an utter gag job of epic proportions last Sunday night. Shame, shame, shame. Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, you guys stunk the joint up. Y'all were no-shows. Joker and Maury, tongues were wagging. Maury did everything in the first half, and they fell apart. It was more them falling apart than Minnesota taking it from them. And I know that sounds like I'm not giving the Wolves their proper credit. When I was the guy that said start of the playoffs, they did not have a great chance to win a championship, and you thought they did, and they could, and they may very well would. But when you're up 20 in the third quarter at home, defending champ, league MVP, on your floor against a team that you've already lost to twice at home, you cannot lose that game, and they did. And I'll be honest with you, when that happened, I thought deep down it was the beginning of the Boston Celtics winning the championship. Nuggets were the best team equipped to take down the C's and go back-to-back. And when they got booted out, the Celtics said probably internally, they won't say it out loud and publicly, you know what? Mavs aren't beating us. Wolves aren't beating us. Pacers darn sure aren't beating us. And the Pacers couldn't close the night. And now we're looking at potentially a sweep or two. I don't think we'll get both, but I think we'll get one. I do.
Well, again, going backwards here, I think if the Pacers don't win game 3, then Boston could sweep it in 4.
Is Halliburton going to play, by the way? He's got the hammy deal, the hamstring issue.
Well, that's a key. That's not one you can go out and just drag your leg and try to make it. If it hurts you, you can't play. And I don't know how serious it is. I guess he's still questionable. Without him, they're in trouble. I know Carlisle's taking a lot of heat, especially
he should.
The other night.
You're a coach. Call a timeout. Advance the ball into the front court. Now, for other purposes and reasons, I was thrilled beyond belief that he didn't. Good job, Rick. Keep it up. And then you got Siakam, you got Jaylen Brown cornered in the corner. He's in coffin corner, and you let him get a shot off there. Now, he claims later, now he took the bullet. I'll give him credit for taking the bullet as a coach. That's what you're supposed to do as a leader. He took the bullet. I should have called timeout. He did say later when asked, did Siakam get the instruction to foul, and he didn't. But what are you doing in the Bucks game? He had twice. We were at Harbor Park watching the Tides that night, My phone was blown up, as you know, about he had an opportunity in regulation and overtime to foul Chris Middleton up 3, and he didn't do it. Now, he got very fortunate in that deal. They pulled that game out to go up 2-1, eventually went up 3-1, 1-4-2. No Giannis. Dame got hurt in the series. Bucks didn't put a little pressure on them, weren't at full strength. And then the Knicks had some injuries as they took them apart and won Game 7 in the Garden. And but that's what I'm saying. The Pacers had a great win in New York, and we don't give them the break. Yet here we are, we're giving the Wolves the break. Well, because they have Luka and Kyrie. Luka's unbelievable and Kyrie's great. Well, hold on now. And we can't be making exceptions and different rules for whatnot. And that's where it, a little salty taste for me. I don't know, a little salty taste. That's all.
Yeah, I get all that too, and about and I've said it many, many, many times on our radio show podcast. There's a lot to be said for being there in the past, experience, especially as you move on close to the finals.
Yeah,
you're going through the whole playoff process, the traveling, the fanfare, the media. It's a lot to be said to that. Minnesota is new to it, but I'm not going to sit here and say give them a pass. They really shouldn't be where they're at now. That's a good team. Yeah, they're somewhat young when you think Anthony Edwards 22, but a host of those other guys are not 22. They're a little bit older. So to feel good about beating Denver and not putting the same energy out for Dallas, I don't get that. And again, I'm only seeing it through a TV screen. I'm not actually there. I'm not saying they're not trying hard. It's Boston has been the ones that get accused of playing well and then thrown a game or two away like it's not a big deal. Sure. And they have not done that yet with Indiana. So is this first game in Indiana, going to be the one, or is Boston just going to take 4 straight? And I do think, regardless, Dallas, Minnesota, Boston wins the series. Don't think they're going to sweep in the finals. And it looks right now to be Dallas. Dallas is a good team. I'm not a major – got an argument with somebody the other day about I'm just not a big Luka fan. And lately – and he's tremendous. I'll tell you what I give Luka a lot of credit for I didn't earlier. That kid can rebound.
Well, I was going to say his passing. How about the bounce pass he had in game 1? And then last night, both him and Kyrie throwing lobs galore to whether it's P.J. Washington. Well, he wasn't as much involved with the lobs. Daniel Gafford, the former Wizard. And, of course, inside getting a bunch of them, Derek Lively, who we watched a couple of years ago at the Hoop Group Southern Jam Fest at the PLEX when he was playing alongside Amani Bates and Jalen Duren. But we can go through a lot more of this as we move along. We'll have Chris Monter coming up later from the Monter Draft News, college basketball news, talk NBA college hoops with us. The draft coming up too. We've got buy or sell, my top 5 college football games. We'll sprinkle some football sound. But when we come back from break, we got a special guest with us from Prep Baseball Report VA. You can find out all his info online. He's the scouting director for Prep Baseball VA on X or Twitter. Check out their website at prepbaseballreport.com/Virginia. They have tons of analysis, stories, and rankings and so much more. Jason Burton will join us here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk and Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. When we come back, though, we'll talk with him. Right now, though, we're going to hear a word from our sponsors that make it all possible for us to do this with you each and every week. From the Plex and all over the web, stay tuned right here on Cova Sports TV.
Get ready for a season of thrills and excitement. Virginia Beach United invites you to experience the adrenaline of USL League 2 Pro Soccer. Tickets are only $10 for adults, $7 for kids, and children 5 and under are free. It's the perfect family outing filled with fun and entertainment. Secure your seats now for a season of unforgettable soccer moments with Virginia Beach United. Don't miss out.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar IV Hydration and Vitamin Therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Lansdowne Commons in Virginia Beach.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
All right, welcome back here to 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel on Cova Sports TV. We have a special guest with us now. He is with Prep Baseball Report. Check him out on the web at prepbaseballreport.com. He gives a lowdown on everything when it comes to the high school baseball playoffs. We say good morning and hello to Jason Burton. Jason, you out there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you loud and clear. Can you hear us?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the show, and we'll dive into what's on your website and what people can check out. You, of course, being the scouting director for Prep Baseball VA. We got some matchups going on this weekend all across the 757 and beyond when it comes to high school baseball. Let's start with this, though. The season in general, it's the playoffs here. Any big surprises, one or two you can highlight for us, whether it's in Tidewater or beyond it, a player, a team that you didn't see going into the season that maybe you had on your expectation list?
Yeah, it's been upsets galore here early. And I say that just based off of everything that has happened, the rest of the season and records and who teams have played and how they've performed. But it looks like some teams have come to play, when it comes to playoff time. Lafayette knocked off New Kent. Obviously, I think you talked about that a little bit earlier. Lafayette knocked off New Kent. That was a shocker. That's a talented New Kent team. It was just, an unexpected one. I'm trying to think of anything else in the 757. We had our picks, and we've been getting torched on those, just like any picks. They're all bad. But Ocean Lakes beat Princess Anne. Princess Anne was higher seeded, but I think that was just like the 4-5 game. And then obviously yesterday, Ocean Lakes went and beat Great Bridge. They had some big innings yesterday. I was out there at Indian River yesterday. I'm actually headed back today to finish up First Colonial and Cox. So, and in Richmond last night, Midlothian knocked off Douglas Freeman. Freeman's ace went out early with an injury, and Midlothian upset Douglas Freeman. So those are kind of some of the bigger ones, I guess you could say, so far. But yeah.
Yeah, I want to go to that real quick before I let Ed jump in here with you, Jason, the Ocean Lakes Great Bridge result, because we think of Great Bridge, just a wealth of tradition in a lot of sports, wrestling, field hockey, baseball when it comes to championships. That guy by the name of, by the way, Michael Kadire, and I think his offspring is on the team. You can talk about that in a little bit. But Ocean Lakes maybe doesn't have quite the history or reputation, I would say, that a Great Bridge does, although they've sent some players to the next level. I think of Carson DiMartini a couple years back, Virginia Tech, Gary Spedden, when he was coaching there, they were in the mix every year. Did that one come as a big surprise? And now moving ahead here, do the Dolphins have, in your eyes, a real shot to maybe win the whole thing in Class 5 coming down from Class 6?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Zell does a phenomenal job over there at Ocean Lakes. They have Blake Dickerson that was drafted in the 12th round last year. They've been really arm heavy the past couple years. He has found a way to just kind of churn out arms, and they haven't been super offensive outside of DiMartini, really. I think that's kind of been, if you will, the downfall or what has stopped them from getting to the state tournament. But obviously they kind of punched their ticket yesterday. I think the issue once they get to the state level, I think one of the issues could potentially be the fact that they don't have like that premier frontline arm that they've had in the past couple of years. But those arms that they've been throwing have been doing a phenomenal job. They threw a freshman and a sophomore yesterday. And while Great Bridge had some opportunities, they had a big inning. Those guys did a phenomenal job. Ellison, a little sophomore lefty, came in and threw like 4 1/3 in relief, and not overpowering stuff, just pitched and let his defense work. That one was definitely a shock yesterday, honestly, and I think the biggest reason is because Dawson Newman, the Longwood commit, has been so dominant for Great Bridge all year. And that offensive lineup just did a great job. They got him really deep in counts. They didn't give in at bats. I think he threw 40 pitches in the first inning. They announced a pitch count after every inning at the tournament, just to make sure everybody, I'm sure, is on the same page. And he came back out in the second inning 40. I knew it was 30 plus, but they got to the bullpen, and they found a way to make some big innings, and so that was a huge part of it for them.
Hey, Jason, Ed Young here. Again, appreciate you coming on. We're looking at some of the better teams, obviously, here in the playoffs, looking for the upsets. I did see where number 2 seed Lakeland is in a suspended game. They're actually down a run also, which to number 7. We got who was playing them?
Grafton.
Okay, not losing to Grafton. So we could have our second big upset. And again, as you mentioned earlier, you don't know if some of these are really upsets. It's just we're just looking at certain seeds and how the season went. And then once you get in playoffs, everybody kind of looks the same. You kind of answered the question a little bit. I like to think in high school baseball, if you've got that one stud pitcher, now he can't pitch every game, but if you got that one stud pitcher who's pretty much guaranteed to win the game, he's throwing and a couple of decents behind him, you're going to go a long way into the state championship, if not win it. Who looks to be in the 7-5-7 those couple 3 teams that have a stud hurler or a very good starting staff?
That's a really good question, because I think the one team who has the guy who has been dominant all year in Dawson Newman, obviously Great Bridge is out. In addition to that, you have Grassfield and Western Branch next week. I think that is on Tuesday, and they're on the same side of the bracket. One of those teams is not going to go to the state tournament, but both of those teams, arms alone, gives them a chance, and especially with the way that things are kind of formatted with the state playoffs in public school, the having one gives you a chance, obviously. I would say the more complete team out of those two in that matchup is Western Branch. They're just more offensive. And then, but Bradley Zayak for Grassfield is as good as it gets in the 7-5-7 as far as arms. There's not any like draft arms this year in the 7-5-7 like a Dickerson. But Zayak's probably the most dominant, I guess you would say. When he's on, he can be really, really good. So I hope that answered your question. I mean, Colucci is good for Cox. They don't have a ton of upper class arms with a lot of experience behind him. He's throwing. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what the rule is. I forget the rule exactly, because that game was suspended and they're continuing it today. So I don't even know if he can come back to that. That's a 1-1 game. Now, I will say, if he can't come back today, huge advantage for First Colonial, because you talk about who has a deep staff. They have a deep staff. They have Nick Morlang, the Maryland commit. The Maryland commit. They have Brady Wilson, who started last night, who I haven't seen Wilson a ton. He's a Hampton-Sydney commit. 6'6", was 86 to 88 when he started last night. 85, 88. He was really impressive in the short work that we saw before the suspension. And then on top of that, they may have one of the best 25 uncommitted arms in the state in Aiden Parker, another 6'5", 6'6" right-hander who's 87, 89. So depth of staff, First Colonial. I think it just depends on what the ruling is as to who can come back or whatever for today. But best quality arm probably are the two, Zayak and Gavin Biernot, the VMI commit, who's at Western Branch. Those are the best two that are probably left in the 757.
Let's switch it around on hitters. Who are your top 4 or 5 guys that can really stick it? Guys that pretty much are going to get on base. They're not sure out. So who are you looking at as best hitters?
Austin Irby, Parker White for Cox. Those two, they can really swing it. Irby, in my opinion, is probably the best. You talk about like basketball, like a combo guard, if you will. He's probably the best combination of hit tool and power in the entire state, especially when we're talking about 24 class. Parker White I think he had the RBI hit last night, I'm pretty sure, that put them up 1-0. It's tied 1-1. Western Branch has a bunch of guys who just scrap and battle at the plate. Coach Wright does a phenomenal job over there. It's a senior heavy team. His son, and I'll be honest with you, the twins, I get them mixed up, Joshua and Jacob. The shortstop is going to Randolph Macon, super scrappy infielder, right-handed hitter. The outfielder, and I want to say it's Joshua, but I may be crossing those up. The outfielder that's going to Lynchburg, left-handed hitter, he can really hit. It's not power. It's just bat to ball, and he just sprays it around. As far as left in the tournament, there's guys who have hit tools and stuff like that, but the best hitter down here by far in my opinion, is Austin Irby. And then again, you got Parker White and some other guys behind them. So yeah.
It's funny you say Irby real quick, and I'll let you jump back in. Yeah. I saw Irby a couple of years ago against Granby in a playoff game, Jason. They won that game to Granby behind Daniel Smith, who's one of the better pitchers, as you know, from the 757 the last couple of years. But you could see Cox was kind of a young group from Matt Ittner building. They had Riley D. Candido, who came back last year. They had that championship run. But what you're saying about Western Branch, correct me if I'm wrong a little bit, it feels like that Coach Wright, who's done this before, he's no newbie to this, he was kind of building the last couple of years for this to be a big run. Was that what your sense was the last year or two?
For sure. They had a really tough matchup in the first round of states last year, as did Grassfield. Both of them made it. They faced they faced 6B. I believe Grassfield faced Freedom. Freedom had Ryan Marone, who threw against them in that game, I believe. Marone's at NC State as a freshman and got time on the mound. And then Western Branch had Colgan, who was a senior heavy class. Who had Brett Renfro, who's the Friday starter was the Friday starter for most of the year. I think it's Saturday starter, as a freshman at Virginia Tech, and had some other guys. And so that was a really talented Colgan team. So they got both of them kind of got blitzed last year with those matchups. But I will say that 6B is a little bit down this year. I think 6 is probably the most wide open it's been in quite some time. I think that a 7-5-7 team has a legitimate chance of winning. If I had to say who had the best chance, I'd probably say Western Branch, but they have to get through Grassfield. And the reason that I say that is that Western Branch has the opportunity to stay in the game offensively. Both of them have quality arms. Grassfield does not have the most potent offense, and has gone, quiet in some big games. But they did a heck of a job the other day. They put up 7 on a Division I arm that they faced for deep run. They put up 7 in the first 2 innings. But yeah, I think that Western Branch team is just so senior heavy. They're very tough at bats from 1 to 9. You don't get that a lot in high school baseball.
Good deal. We're talking with Jason Burton of Prep Baseball Report, our guest here on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Ed?
Jason, you kind of went right into what one of the next questions I was going to ask you was, who in any of the divisions, 757 area, good chance to get into at least get maybe into the state championship, win it. If there's any other teams in your mindset, And I'll throw in my second question right after that was, and you kind of alluded early in the interview, do we have anybody anywhere that you've seen, not just 757, that probably will get drafted? Major League Baseball draft coming up. I don't know if it's in June or July or whatever. If there's anybody, we have any more David Wrights, Kadires, people of that nature out there.
Well, the draft one, there is our number one player in the state, Griffin Burkholder. He's at Freedom High School, which is 6B. He is the most tooled up player in the state. I think he has the best chance of in terms of like going higher in the draft and having a higher expectation, if you will. I think that he is the one. This class is much lighter in terms of draft depth as opposed to last year. You had Bryce Eldridge and Johnny Farmello and Zaire Hope and Blake Dickerson. You had those four last year that got drafted from the state. Obviously, Bryce in the first round. I think Johnny was like number 32 or so overall. He was a comp pick. So, technically first round, sandwich round, whatever you want to call it. But there's some of those, the top 2 or 3 guys in this year's class, you put them in last year's class and they're probably in the 5 to 10 range in terms of, and that's just where we're at this year. Every year is different. Did that answer your question for the draft part?
Yes. And then the other one was looking at all the divisions. Anybody 757 especially has a shot at getting into maybe the state championship.
Yeah. I think that Cox, and obviously they got to get by First Colonial today. I think that Cox in 5 would be the best bet. And I say that because like Coach Ittner and obviously Coach Stubby, they're playing First Colonial today, and Coach Zell is still in it, and he's on the way to the state tournament. All 3 of those guys have phenomenal programs, with Coach Ittner and Cox winning 2 of the last 3 years or 2 of the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. It was the COVID year with Ethan Anderson that they won, and then obviously they won last year. So I guess this would be the 4th year. But the culture there and the expectation and everything is just phenomenal. I think, my opinion, as far as program and player development, they're one of the best in the state. And when I say one of the best in the state, a handful of teams, I think they do a phenomenal job. And so I think they're prepared for those situations. Again, they're going to have to get by some tough arms today in a tie game in the second. But I think out of that, I think they are. First Colonial, again, has the arm depth. They can be offensive at times, but kind of like Grassfield, they can go quiet at times offensively if they're facing a premier arm. I think in 4 now Matt or Ed, I don't know the 4. That's Menchville and Bethel and Maury, or that's 5. I'm sorry, that's 5B.
4, I'll help you out with real quick. 4 locally, you're looking at right now. Gloucester is the 1, Smithfield 2, Churchland 3, Jamestown 5. You told me if I'm wrong, Jason. It feels like it might be someone outside the 757 that takes that. Maybe someone up there from Northern Virginia, right?
Yeah, I don't. Well, I mean, when you go to 4, you got to kind of. You kind of got to, and everybody calls me a homer for this, you got to kind of run everything through Hanover. Sure. And Hanover had so much turnover in the past couple of years, but they're right back in it. And you got Atlee and Mechanicsville on one side of the bracket, so one of them will make it. Well, Atlee has to play today, but anyway, 5B is just like, and I'm just being honest, it's a really light region. And when it comes to baseball, I know correct me if I'm wrong, y'all are the football guys, that's a really good region in football.
Yeah, and it didn't used to be that way, Jason, because some of those teams like Menchville and Nansemond River and some others, they used to, and even Maury to an extent, Granby to an extent, they've had better years, but it seems like it's kind of going on a lean side for baseball. It's kind of trending a little bit down. It's not so much a knock on those kids, players, coaches.
For sure.
It feels like the cycle's kind of down, right?
Yeah, no, it's it's definitely there's just not a ton of depth. You have some teams, some players like you said, like Daniel Smith, who's going to Davidson. You have Zach Davis, who is Minchfield's ace, who is a phenomenal pitcher. And then you have Maury, who has Derek Baker and Bryson Hamilton. And there's definitely some talent in that region. It's just I have a very hard time seeing if 5A is going up against 5B in the next round, that you have them beating an Ocean Lakes or First Colonial or a Cox.
Yeah. By the way, Derek Baker, the son of the former legendary Maury basketball coach, Jack Baker. How old are we now? He's one of the top standouts in baseball in the area. Hey, Jason, it's been a blast talking with you. We look forward to hopefully maybe getting you to recap, if we get a chance in the next couple of weeks, what happens in the state finals, and we'll highlight more that you have online. Before we let you go there, tell the folks out there, the fans out there, there's a lot of baseball fans across our entire state, what they can find on prepbaseballreport.com in the coming days.
Well, if it's looking for picks, it's a lot of misinformation. But
we're using that with basketball. Don't worry. Ed and I get picks all the time, so join the club.
I mean, scout blogs breaking down players and kind of projections and future makeup and rankings, high school rankings as far as Power 25, private school rankings, small school rankings, player rankings. And then just a ton of content and data and stuff that we collect on players.
Follow Jason on X at KSAllday19. That's KSAllday19, and Prep Baseball as well at Prep Baseball VA. It's been a real pleasure talking with you. All the best. Enjoy the matchup today at Indian River with the Falcons and the Patriots, and we'll catch up again soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jason.
That's Jason Burton from Prep Baseball Report, prepbaseballreport.com, for joining us with all kinds of intel and insight. First time we've had him on the show, I believe, Ed, and he was top-notch, giving us all kinds of great info. We enjoyed that. That was good for the baseball fans out there. We had some people tweeting us or messaging us. Would we highlight the playoffs? Well, you're not going to get a better breakdown than that. He's not.
Yeah, he's out there at the games. He's talking to coaches. He's looking at players. So Jason got his fingers on that pulse of what's going on in baseball. And, we do slight sometimes baseball based on the fact that we've had a lot of tremendous talent come out of here and get into the big leagues. A host of players back from the days of Tiny Townsend and all of his group and all those players. And speaking of baseball, in fact, I didn't let you know, next Saturday, the one and only Timmy Kirchin will give us some major.
He's coming on next Saturday?
We got him for next Saturday. Yeah, we just got to lock down the time.
So that means we probably have to do our customary 10 to noon. You can't go 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and have breakfast at Ed's house in whatever city he's living in now. Last check, I'm not sure if that's Suffolk, if that's like Big Stone Gap, or if he's in Mechanicsville, or if he's in Leesburg. I have no idea these days.
It's like they used to say about masked wrestlers. They call home where they hang their hat but don't wear one.
Oh, I like that. So we got Timmy Kirkton. So we'll actually put it out during the week. If you have a question, I don't know if we have the communication devices to pop you in with the call that we used to from time to time on where it is, but we'll let you, like the mailbag. We're going to bring back the mailbag segment again next week or two as well. If you got a question for Timmy, send it in. We'll attach your name to it, first or last, or just first, whatever you prefer. Doesn't matter. And we'll let you get your question in potentially to Tim when we get him on the program. So there you have it. And that should be fun. It should be lots and lots and lots of fun. And we'll actually, hopefully, if we remember, don't forget, get a chance to ask Tim to talk about his new podcast that he's doing with his son, which has got to be really cool, father-son podcast, which some people always mistake us for having a father-son podcast. No, Ed Young's not my daddy. Sorry. Thank God.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Mike Hatfield has that dishonor. I don't want that. And we just pray daily for Mike Hatfield. I see why Mike Hatfield goes off a lot. He's had to do it with this knucklehead when he was younger. So
yeah. So we're going to take a time out here. Coming up, we've got Chris Monter of the Monter Draft News and college basketball news to talk everything when it comes to basketball with us. And like I told you earlier, he was out at the Wolves and Mavericks game. I'm trying to get this photo to work. I don't think it's going to work because I'm just technologically a misfit with this, but I'm going to do my very best to get this to work for people to see where he was sitting at for this game. Real quick, before you even see it, because you haven't seen the picture yet, Ed, do you think his picture for the Wolves and Mavericks game on Friday night was better than your seats for the Admirals playoff game?
I'm going to say Chris was probably 3 rows behind the Wolves bench, if not at media row.
Okay.
That's going to be my prediction, not knowing anything.
I'm trying to get it loaded in here. I might have to use it as like a PDF in our system. And we've got a couple of clips, by the way, too, as we get ready to head to break. We'll have you play when we come back from break or the next hour. We still got to get to, before we finish the summer, Matthew Alton of Norcom, wide receiver, defensive back. A little soft-spoken, but we'll put him on the show because he's got the best first name in the entire state. You see what I did there? Jaden Dabbs of Oscar Smith, Kendall Daniels of Maury, some 2026 players like Travis Johnson of Oscar Smith, Tommy Wilder of Green Run, and some others. So we got some interviews that we'll try to sprinkle in here as we close out the summer. 7-on-7s. I'm going to be at a couple of those the next couple of weeks. Get my way out there to see Kellum. I got to give a shout out to Brian Neese, by the way, coach at Kellum. You know, his son wants to become a photographer. He's taking my camera and taking pictures all over the place. But that's what I understand. So he wants to follow me around and become like my personal assistant. Give Coach Neese a shout out. We love Coach Neese. He came on the Hash with Hatfield last year. But anyhow, maybe Ed Young and him can like do a sideline report, since it's Ed right now. He's got some time on his hands, ladies and gents.
Yeah, I'm out here and mending fences, cutting grass.
Are you really?
Grass, and yeah, I'm doing some.
Apparently, that's a big deal. The grass cutting business for current and retired football, basketball coaches, because I'm telling you, and I'm not exaggerating this, ladies and gents, I've had like 6 high school coaches tell me that they will miss a 7-on-7 or a practice or whatever because they have a grass cutting gig. And I'm like, really? That's how they got to get their monies. Well, I'm sure you do too. So that means we can boot my guy Edgar and have you cut my grass. Is that what you're saying to me?
I would have no problem charging. I'd probably give you a discount, maybe $300.
Oh gosh, no, Edgar's staying. He's giving us a much better deal than that. No, we'll keep Edgar. You'll stay wherever you are. We don't need you. Plus, you'll screw up the daggone yard. You'll have like zigzags all over my front and backyard. I don't need that.
Yeah, I would do a bang up job for you.
Yeah, I'm banging up all right. We're going to take a time out here, some more of our sponsors that make it possible for us at the Plex. And among those, CHKD, Town Bank, and many, many more. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Cova Sports TV.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
Get ready for a season of thrills and excitement. Virginia Beach United invites you to experience the adrenaline of USL League 2 Pro Soccer. Tickets are only $10 for adults, $7 for kids, and children 5 and under are free. It's the perfect family outing filled with fun and entertainment. Secure your seats now for a season of unforgettable soccer moments with Virginia Beach United. Don't miss out.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all, right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies, with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
I'm Dr. Mark Cardelia, orthopedic surgeon and surgical director of the CHKD Sports Medicine Program. We see a lot of knee injuries in student athletes these days, and many of these are ACL tears. Parents often ask how to know when a knee injury may be serious. The most obvious symptom is severe pain or swelling in the knee joint. Your child may have heard a pop when the injury occurred. Look for signs they can't put weight on the knee around 48 hours after the injury, or if the knee feels unstable or wobbly. Those are all signs you should see a CHKD sports medicine specialist. Our sports medicine physicians, surgeons, athletic trainers, and physical therapists understand the needs of growing athletes and tailor treatment to fit each child's age and level of activity. Our goal is to accurately diagnose the problem in a timely fashion and provide the treatment that will ensure a safe return to activity. Kids want to play, and we want to help them get back in the game. To learn more, visit chkd.org. Sports medicine at CHKD. We're more than a hospital.
Welcome back to 757 Sports Talk. No, it's not in the pool. It's Hatfield and Young at the PLEX, the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. Here are two guys that, even though they never shut up, they're always dropping pearls of wisdom. Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
All right, we're back here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to Cova Sports TV. And Ed, we're hoping to connect here in just a moment with Chris Monter. But before we do so, we got one of the football clips that we're going to sprinkle in here now. He's a standout player from Chesapeake, and he's already made his commitment to serve our country, plus play some football beyond the high school level, too.
Yeah, we got Jaden Dabbs, the safety defensive back from the Oscar Smith Tigers, and going to be neat. He is committed to Army. U.S. what's the official title? U.S. Military Academy. We call it Army on the field.
Black Knights.
Yeah, and you got a chance to sit down and talk with him on some things. So let's see right now here on COVID TV Sport. Let's see what young fella had to say.
From the Plex, too.
I'm here with Oscar Smith, defensive back, and Army commit Jaden Dabbs. He's repping the U.S. Army Bowl Combine Series today. Jaden, tell me about a pretty big day. Get out here to compete against some other friendly rivals, if you will, around the 7x7, some teammates, and just getting some work in as you're getting closer and closer to the senior season. How you been?
Yes, sir. I'm good. Thank you. And it was very fun out here. A lot of guys out here. They real good and know what they're doing. It was fun to compete.
Now, some athletes will make that commitment and say, all right, I got mine. I don't need to keep working. But you're still grinding away. Why is that?
Yes, sir. I mean, always want to get better, you know what I'm saying? You got to keep working, keep coming to the camps, get exposure, just do you, keep being better.
Now, you've made the commitment to Army, which is not just to play football, but to serve your country. Tell me, what was it about Army that set them apart, and what made it a fit for you?
I took a visit there and just learning more about it, all the benefits I would have and how they would grow me into a man. And I really liked it. Really enjoyed it.
You mentioned the benefits. What are some of those benefits that you think will make you even better as a person and grow from them?
Not just like military benefits, but also like leadership, learning to grow, but also the benefits of the military, like housing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Coach Scott, I spoke with him earlier today. He talked about at length to me about just your leadership. That was a big thing. He talked about it just on and off the field. How have you changed from football player freshman year to now getting ready to be a senior?
Yeah, people really know me as a quiet kid, but I get on the field, it just comes out, you know, and gotta teach the young guys, everyone around me. So just lead that way, lead by example.
Mm-hmm. And to be recognized here as among the standouts today, that's got to mean something to you because you come to something you want to go out and show out what you're made of, correct?
Yes, sir.
What do you think your best traits are as a football player that'll help you not just with the Tigers this year, but beyond that at Army?
My ability to get to the ball fast, sideline, really come down and make a play every time.
Now, you view yourself as a safety?
Yes, sir. Free safety.
Free safety,
But
okay.
I also play corner, strong, everywhere.
Okay. And who do you like watching on Sundays, Saturdays? Who college football defensive backs you study on tape and you try to emulate out there?
I like Texans, Jalen. I forget his last name, and then Jalen Ramsey, of course. He's not a safety, but fun to watch, great to watch.
Gotcha. A couple more for you. You got a pretty talented, versatile secondary with yourself, and obviously Jamari DeLoach and Jacoby Marshall's whole group at Oscar Smith. How much do you all just build off each other and kind of makes you all better? I guess.
Yeah, every day is competing. Jamari, my stepbrother, I live with him, so we just get up, compete with everything we do, and that practice is just fun. Everybody's competing and making each other better.
Oscar Smith won back-to-back titles last couple of years. You've been knocked out in the regional playoffs. Do you feel like people are sleeping on you guys? And do you like that sort of being now the underdog instead as opposed to the hunted, if you will? Do you guys are hoping to kind of bite some ankles this year, if you will?
Everybody's sleeping. We not. They saying we not what we used to be, but we're going to show them this year.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, what are the goals you have? Everybody wants to win a state championship, but what are the goals you have as a senior in helping your team achieve some of those things this coming year? What are you looking for as a player to do?
I'm just looking to get better, focus on my mind, everything, getting right for college and getting ready.
And then you're looking for that go Army, beat Navy, right?
Sir.
That's Jaden Dabbs. He's going to play for the Black Knights of Army after he's finished with the Oscar Smith Tigers. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you.
So that's Jaden Dabbs, who joined us on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe here. Headed to Army to play his college football, soft-spoken, but you can see he's got a serious mentality, which he carries with him beyond the field and transfers it over to you got to have the academics, you got everything else in order, and it's going to be a really good secondary for Coach Scott this year, among the better. We might do what you've never done in the past, and I don't know that you want to delve into it. I might do position unit rankings this year. I love rankings, and people love rankings. Who's got the best linebackers, the best defensive backs, best wide receivers, best running, best quarter. People will get into that stuff, and I might do that for Tidewater, and I might do a top 5 or 10. I do the top 10s for the state, obviously. I might do it for the 757 with the teams too. So Dabbs in that defensive backfield with Jamari DeLoach and others back there. We had Jamari on a couple weeks back. It's if it's not the best, it's among the best. It's in the top 4 or 5 units. I know you love doing it when you get the magazines that come out, these football books, the college football, the NFL books. They do the position rankings. Phil Steele, who will probably get on a podcast soon. Oh, he's the very best when it comes to college football. The Lindy's magazines, the Athlon magazine, they do the rankings. It'd be pretty cool for us because let's be honest, not to toot our own horns here, because I get ready to do it. I don't know that anybody's going to do it as thoroughly with a fine-tooth comb as us on 757 Saturday Sports Talk.
Well, let's put it where it's due. You do the rankings you're much closer to than I am. I just give my analysis or my thumbs up, thumbs down to your rankings.
Or is it paralysis by analysis? Or is it analysis by paralysis?
When you screw up, which is not a lot, but enough, and I'm the one that keeps you straight so that you don't go off the deep end, because let's face it, there have been times you were on the edge, toes over the edge, and I'm the one that had to pull you back.
Yeah.
Need I remind you, I think it was the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, there you go. Why would you bring up Nick's Minnesota Vikings?
Well, that's for us to know and others to find out at some point in time. And let's just say that you don't have strong heart for the Minnesota Vikings.
No. I don't trust Jeff Saturday coaching on a Saturday, whether it's against the Vikings.
No, he's done coaching. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
He's done coaching. Yeah,
he's done. Period. So that's not going to. That's definitely
a little bit out there. But what we'll do? Go ahead.
When you were saying about the position rankings. Mm-hmm. And we always talk about Phil Steele every year because he has the best preview book of any sport of
which
all
you always
time.
Want a freebie of, which you should pay. You should get out of your pocket. You're not broke.
No. I've said this many a times. Phil Steele, number one in the nation, he gives out 10 mags a year freely to people who need them.
Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler and this guy.
Those guys have big money to go and pay it. I don't have big money
No, and they get freebies. But Mark Packer said it best from ACC Network. He says, you know what? All these flunkies out. I don't want these freebies, and you're part of the flunkies. Tony Etten paid the $20. The guy put in his blood, sweat, and tears. I, as a writer, can respect it because I've put the blood, sweat, and tears. All you coaches want things for free. You love free Saley and Clarence, your favorites.
Favorites. Hopefully somehow this gets to Phil Steele. Phil, I need your magazine.
Oh.
This dude over here, this dude over here, he'll pay for his because he can do that. I can't. So, yes.
I'll pay for yours because, like these people that do things for kids and charities and stuff and it's good. It's good for the soul, and it's also good to help out others. You just want all kinds of free things and stuff.
I make no bones about it. I've said it for years. In this business of a talking head, I need info. I need stats. And if I go out there and buy everything, I just couldn't, and not going to steal it. So I need it free. And then we will speak of their graces, though Phil still doesn't need us to speak of his graces. His work speaks for itself. And be nice if we can get him. Boy, he's hard to get. You talk about everybody in the world wants him.
We'll effort getting him on soon. Hey, we have not heard from Chris Monter. He might be a little bit in mourning from last
night. Get out of bed, Chris. Get out of bed.
Yeah, it was a late night. And matter of fact, I have you want to see real quick where he was sitting? I've got it right here. I know you're dying to see it. Here we go. See if I can put it up on the stage. Oh, there it is. That's where he was sitting at. He was all the way up there. He wasn't. But that's about where I was sitting in the suite. Now, I'm not sure if he was in a suite or not. I don't think he was in a suite. The suite of the
I gotta
Wizards
learn
Nuggets game.
Chris is one of the best at the business.
Yeah.
And look where they put him at. I mean, you can watch ants move food better than you could see this game. This is crazy. I'm going to have to get on him. I really thought he'd be 2-3 rows behind the bench. He should be a media row. What is Chris doing? I've got to fuss him out. And he can't be like, there ain't a whole lot of places to go in where they're playing at. So at night, the nightlife there is not great. So we'll have to get on Chris a little bit because he's good. When guys are good, you can get on them. When they're not good, you back off. But he's good.
Well, it might have been the last Minnesota Timberwolves home game of the year, but we've already gone through. If you missed it in the show, you can go. And this is a cool thing about YouTube. If you missed it in the show, you can always go back and rewind us, which you couldn't always do with radio, by the way. You have to wait for it to come out later to podcast. But if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on IG or Twitter or X or Facebook, it's not as easy to do. But if you're watching on YouTube and that link's available, like, share, and subscribe to Cova Sports TV, you can go back and hear the interview we just did with Jaden Dabbs, the Oscar Smith defensive back who is going to Army. You can also hear our first segment of the show. You can also hear who we had on talking baseball with us, Jason Burton from Prep Baseball Report, who likes the chances, as you heard him say, for both Western Branch in Class 6 and Cox in Class 5, who plays today in the suspended game that resumes at 12 noon against First Colonial over at Indian River. But he likes the chances of a couple of our teams in the 7-5-7 to hoist state championship trophies. Unfortunately, we mentioned New Kent. They're out. They're done. Lafayette, though, will try to move forward. And we will see what transpires in the coming days. We'll also try to touch on a little bit, the spring jubilees are coming up for the Virginia High School League, Ed. Softball, soccer. We'll get our guy back on from soccer we had on a few weeks back. So we'll touch on some other sports because it's not just baseball. We want to give the ladies their due and the soccer athletes their due if we get a chance to as well here on the program on this Memorial Day weekend. But before we go to break, I guess now would be a pretty appropriate time. We still have another clip we'll slide in here. We've got buy or sell coming up. Do you want to see my top 5? I know you're going to shake your head no, but might as well because I'm going to make him mad or he's going to do it anyway. My top 5 college football games. We're just talking about Phil Steele for 2024. I gave you the top 5 NFL games last week during the schedule reveal. I'll probably do the top 5 high school games next week unless I wait a week or two. You want to see my top 5 college football games for 2024?
It doesn't matter. If I say no, we're going to see him anyway. So bring it.
Why do you do this? Why do you mess with me?
Because you're excited about it. You've gone through 1,007 games to come up with 5. That's a lot of work. So who would I be the one to interrupt your ecstaticnism? So go ahead and do it.
And you're going to poo-poo on it anyway. So here we go.
I'll comment.
Would you like for us to go from 1 to 5 or 5 to 1?
You always do countdown. We got to leave people in suspense.
I'm just asking. Then you get all fired up.
No, I got to learn you a lot of things.
Okay. Number 5 on the list. I'm going to make him a little happier here.
By the way, this is coming from this dude who sends me a text in the middle of the day. Wait till you hear what happened. So I'm waiting to hear what happened, and then he sends me a text 5 hours later. Hey, I'm going to let you know what happened later. You don't need to send me a text and tell me what's going to happen, what happened later. Tell me the minute.
Did I do that? No.
You're the worst at it. In the middle of the day, wait to hear the latest. Okay, now, normally people, when somebody sends you that, what do you expect? Here it is. Here's the latest. Not this nut job. Hey, wait to hear the latest. Okay, where's the latest? And I'm like, this is why
I'm guilty. Your Honor, I'm guilty.
Yeah, this is why Mike Hatfield goes off a lot. He's had to deal with this nut job.
No, but what happens when you got a little 7-year-old niece who's actually right now with the bike outside getting ready to run into something. I don't know what she's getting ready to do. And you got 3 dogs and 2 elderly people.
Larry.
Who I love. I mean, listen, this is what happens. You get distracted. You get sidetracked. I even did it earlier today on the show. You give me some pills for that. I get distracted. It happens very easily. Very easily.
This is why I have my lawyer agent here to kind of keep things going.
As we prolong this top 5 countdown and we still wait for Chris Monster not to text or call back.
We're not going to get Chris. Chris is sleeping.
Yeah, Chris is sleeping.
We'll get on Chris about his
that's all right.
Mess up here.
We're going to have Timmy Kircher next week, as you said. But one thing I knew that I had something to tell you, and then I figured probably in the middle of that you wouldn't pick up the phone anyway. So might as well just say it, and hey.
If I'm available, anybody that calls me or texts me, if I'm available right then and there, I always answer.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
If I'm in class or I'm preoccupied with another activity,
that happens.
I don't pick the phone up because I'm preoccupied with another activity or I'm in class. I can't be on my phone when I'm in class. Lunchtime or whatever, or in between classes and during a school day, I grab that phone. I don't poo-poo people away like that. A lot of people do that mess.
How many days of school do you have left?
Too many. We go to June 14th. So what?
You should know this because
22 days.
Yeah, my niece has got it down to a science. She's got them kids know it like the back of her hand. Let's get to our top 5 college football games. Enough of this babble.
All right, number 5.
You like this one. Florida State at Notre Dame, November the 9th. They've played some classic games over the years, whether it be in South Bend or it's been at Tallahassee. This is going to be the 12th time ever that they have faced off. And remember, they had that game of the century in 1993. Irish won it 31-24, but Florida State got the title a couple years ago. Was it 21 or 22? Florida State was down like 18, 19, 20 points, got it to overtime, but the Irish pulled that one out. That was with the UCF transfer, Mackenzie Milton. And remember, that was when Brian Kelly also had that joke, the execution. He used the old John McKay line. What did you think of your team's execution? Did you get in favor of? Remember that? He said that in the post game?
I'm all for it, but he'd be going to jail.
Listen, you don't have Jordan Travis. You don't have Sam Hartman. Doesn't matter. There's new quarterbacks every year. That changes. I thought about the LSU-USC game, the Clemson-Georgia game. We'll see if that makes the list. Early, September, late August games, the openers. But I like this FSU Notre Dame in November should be a dandy.
What are we looking at right now? I know it's kind of early. Preseason rankings. Is Florida State over Notre Dame? I know there's a lot of heat.
I don't think they've come out yet.
Okay, so nobody's come out.
Unless you want to wait for Phil's book. Or go see if you can find one of your bookstores, one of the books out now. I mean, I think they got to wait a little while to put the books out because, let's be perfectly honest here, the transfers are, you're still shaking and baking, as they say, with players moving all over the place. So,
yeah, I like my college football book to come out like beginning of August, really, to be honest.
That's too late. That's too late. It's got to be, to me, the perfect time is July 4th. Memorial Day weekend, this begins kind of the beginning of summer. And then July 4th weekend, you're right in the teeth of summer. Right in the teeth of summer.
Well, my idea of football is a fall sport. I don't like football being played in July and August. So that's why I like to see it. Plus, I'm big on get as much info as you can on the guides, and this is any guide, and I'm not knocking any of the people do it, because you're right. When you put effort into a preseason guide and Phil interviews everybody in the country, the work and effort put into that is the common person has no clue.
No.
And that's why I would not bash those people and what they do, because the work is tremendous. And Phil is as good at it as anybody. But let's go number 4, Matt Hatfield's top 5 college football games for 2024. At number 4,
Oregon, the Ducks, quack, quack, at the Michigan Wolverines, November 2nd. You could also make a case for Ohio State against the Quackers, but I like this one. It's a little later in the season. This is a huge Big Ten battle. You know, by the way, this is the first meeting, I think, since 2007 between these two schools. Michigan leads the all-time series 3-2, but the Ducks have won the last two, 03 and 07. So this one ought to have some major CFP, college football playoff implications as we expand. We're always expanding on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. We're expanding in everything in the world. Expansion. Who doesn't love expansion? And we're expanding.
Hold on. Let me back up. You picked the games. I picked the winner. Let me back up. Game 5 is Florida State at Notre Dame. I'm going Notre Dame.
So you're going Notre Dame,
Oregon at Michigan.
Oregon. Oh, you're going with a road upset. Defending champ goes down with a new coach. Harbaugh's gone. He's in LA with the Chargers. For some reason, I got a trap door showing in the background. Hey, it's crazy. It's crazy. What about number 3, Edward? What we got for number 3?
All right, let's see. College football games for 2024. Matt Hatfield picks as his number 3 best game going into the season is
Georgia at Alabama, the SEC rivalry renewed. You know what I like about this game? I was going to put it lower because we're getting a little tired of Alabama, Georgia. No longer do we have Nick Saban. We got killing the board air. You got, of course, Georgia lost in the SEC championship, denied a chance of a three-peat by the Crimson Tide, who then fell in the national semifinals to the eventual champions in Michigan. It's going to OT, got it done. But this is really the first chance for DeBoer to go beat the Bulldogs. It's in Tuscaloosa. These teams have combined for 9 championship game trips in 10 years of the 4-team playoff. They're both going to probably be in the mix again. But they don't usually play regular season. It's usually in the SEC championship or in the national semis, national finals. Now they're playing a regular season game in late September. It's not early. It's not the end. It's almost kind of in the middle. It's a good spot for the game. It's not the best game, but it's a good game, and I like the spot for number 3 for them. And you're going to go with a home team or a road team in this one?
I kind of feel this is going to be a 2-touchdown win for the Bulldogs of Georgia.
Whoa, in Tuscaloosa. You're not too high on DeBoer there.
I'm telling you what.
Chuck's going to rip up. Chuck's going to rip up your payments, by the way. That was Eddie, Chuck, not Matty. That was Eddie who's taking the Bulldogs.
Chuck, I love you to death, and I think Alabama might win all the rest of their games, but they're not winning this one.
Wow.
And
so I'm guessing, go real quick. I'm guessing not to go full dive here on May 25th in the college football. We have a couple months for that. I'm guessing if you're loving Georgia that much, and they lost that all-world tight end and Brock Bowers to the NFL, you must think Carson Beck, their QB, is going to be either the Heisman or a finalist, is what you're thinking.
Not really. It's just really. And I'll tell you what, I'm probably going with my heart more than my head. I'm going to miss Nick Saban. I'm missing him already.
Oh, this is an Saban's gone. Get the old guys. This is what this is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm for the old guys, and I hate seeing Saban gone, and Kirby Smart kind of gets that crown for sure. Maybe now. I don't know. It's a feel. I guess it's a feel. Heck, it's only May 5th, and I'm going Georgia winning at Alabama in September.
Okay.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
hey, that was not Vinny, that was Ed. And Saban's not going to be on the sidelines. Will Ed be on the sidelines in 2024? You got to stay tuned for that. But let's get to number 2 on the list. Number 2 on the list.
Here it is, Hatfield's top college football games for 2024. At number 2, we have a repeat team, but not a repeat game.
Georgia at Texas on October 19th. By the way, we got a couple comments, people tuning in here. Our man Dan Malloy from Ferrum. Good morning, guys. I saw Dan last week at the PLEX. You didn't see him because we didn't see you there, Ed. Shame on you. You should come out there. And our man Woody Wagner says, can DeBoer coach defense? That's a fair question, Woody. I don't know.
Nah, Woody, I'll be honest with you. He doesn't have to. It's where you hire a defensive coordinator. He'll have his.
I don't know about that. I'm with Woody on that one. Can he coach some defense? Coach up that defense.
Hey, even though I'm missing Saban already, I'm not against DeBoer at all. I mean,
I know
it's a great pickup for Alabama, but I don't think defense will be an issue with Alabama.
How about this game though, real quick? People love football. They tune it in for football. And it can be January. It could be May, July. They love football. It don't matter when it is.
Two Pop Warner teams down the street and cars will pull over and see if we got any.
They will. And they love hot dog eating contests too. We'll get that later. Georgia, Texas. These are big time programs. You know they've only played once in the last 40 years. Did you know this? Did you know this? 2018 was a thriller down in New Orleans. But I think you're looking at it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think Beck will put on a show. I think you'll see some new weapons minus Bowers. And even though Texas lost its big-time receiver, Xavier Worthy, to the NFL now, catching passes for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, I think this could be a 38-34 shootout, the old Corral in October.
And the winning team will be Texas.
Ooh, you're going with Texas to beat Georgia, Georgia to beat Alabama, Oregon to beat Michigan, and Notre Dame to beat Florida State. Ed could very well be 0-4, ladies and gents. There's the trap door again. 0-4. Trap door comes back, trap door goes away. Trap door goes back, trap door goes away.
Your butt will be going down the trap door when I go 4-0.
4-0.
Can I go 5-0? Depends on this game right here.
Real quick, it says Bama not being as strong as defense. He sees Georgia in the championship against Ohio State. I tell you what, that's a good pick. That's a good pick there.
Good pick, Woody. I tell you what, right now, even though I got Texas beating Georgia, that's a good pick for national championship.
I think Ohio State, it's time for Ryan Day to step up, put up or shut up. And speaking of Ryan Day, it's a great segue by Mr. Wagner to lead us into our number one game. It's got to be Michigan, Ohio State. It's like Duke, Carolina. How do you not go with this as number one? But look at the setting. And let me set the scene for you. It's May 25th. He said, Hatfield, that's 6 months and 5 days from now. Shut up. I don't want to hear about this now. Well, you're going to hear about it real quickly because our guest, Chris Monter, didn't come on. We're going to say this later in the show anyway. But you're going to hear about it. Number one, you're going to hear about it because what's happened? Michigan won a championship. Got a new coach, Ryan Day. It's gotten a little hot seat for him. Tell you what, he's lost, the last 3 meetings to them? Ooh, that's not good. And they got to win this game, get to the Big Ten championship. And now there's plenty of expansions. They can see each other, get in either way. You're going to get a spot in the top 12. But do you really want to lose to your hated rival a 4th straight year? And they could be number one and undefeated by then. The Buckeyes at home, in the horseshoe. Harbaugh's gone. It's a new coach from Michigan. I tell you what, they'd love to spoil the party in Columbus. But that is the game. You got to go with this one. I think Ohio State gets them this year. That's the game.
I'll be honest. Of the 5 games you pick, this game will be the biggest blowout Ohio State wins this.
Blowout?
Ohio State wins. Biggest blowout. Biggest win margin of those 5.
What if you're fighting Irish fall flat on their faces against the Knowles?
That could be number 2.
Yeah.
Number 2.
You're telling me that will be the biggest blowout.
This one right here, Michigan and Ohio State, will be the biggest deficit of the 5 games Matt Hatfield picks as his top 5 games college football 2024. Now, let me just preface all my statements, people, because everybody loves it when Ed Young is wrong, but when Ed Young is right, which is most of the time, everybody goes silent. It's crickets all over the place.
No.
This depends on injuries or suspensions, all that kind of stuff. If everything is how do you say that? Copastatic, meaning
copastatic.
Yeah,
is that a word?
Yeah, I've been improving my vocabulary on things too.
But injuries. Weren't you going to get your head shaved or a tattoo? I forget which it was. If Aaron Rodgers led the Jets to the Super Bowl,
that was in your head. You
agreed to that. We'll get Jack Lowe, our man Jack, to pull up the tape because you said it last year.
Pull up the
tape.
What
happened? 5 plays into the game, Aaron Rodgers is done, and you breathed a sigh of relief. Might not be so fortunate this year. Will you make the same bold statement?
That's a whole nother statement.
Yeah.
Why they got the Jets on 6 primetime games the first 9 weeks of the season? The NFL people made the schedule. Somebody needs to get your head checked.
They love the Jets.
It's ridiculous.
They love the Jets. But if you're wrong on this and this game goes to overtime, you have to eat crow on the air. Give you a bowl of crow and have you eat it with ketchup.
I'll eat some, but it won't be crow.
No, you don't eat crow. So that concludes our latest installment of Buy or Sell. We have another interview we'll throw in here when we come back from break.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You're getting confused. That concluded your top 5 games. We didn't do Buy or Sell yet.
When I said Buy or Sell, I meant to say
you said buy.
Yeah.
This is why there's not enough money in the world for me to deal with this.
Thank you for catching me. I apologize.
For this mentally deranged.
I'm trying to get to break because I have a child outside who's unsupervised, and I need to make sure she's not going to do something that,
And he just put on national network here, thousands and thousands of people. This fool is in charge of a youngster.
I didn't say that.
Outside running wild while he's in the palatial mansion of his neighbor who he snuck in through the trap door. Y'all saw the trap door. Y'all think I'm crazy. People say to me during the week, hey, stop getting on Hatfield. He didn't sneak in that place. He just came through the trap door. People, I give you no lies. I'm only telling you truth. This guy here.
You vanish in the middle of this segment, what you like.
I'm telling you what, one of these days you're going to see the policeman banging through that door, putting this joker in handcuffs because he's got a 7-year-old niece running wild outside. Get the commercial.
They're supposed to get their exercise and their fresh air and play. It's, When we come back, we concluded my top 5 games. We still have Buy or Sell to come. And we also have another clip that we will throw in here with one of the football players in the 757 to get you set for the football season coming up. And if you want to interact with us, anything on your mind in the world of sports, it can be hot dog eating, it can be Indy 500, Daytona, or Coca-Cola 600, NBA NHL playoffs, the high school baseball playoffs, high school football, Major League Baseball, why Ed's Yankees will not win the World Series. Whatever you want to hop on here with, be our guest, be my guest, and we will take it from you here on the show. But we have some more bills to pay and nieces to catch. So while we do that, we'll take a timeout and come back with more here. It is Cova Sports TV. Stay tuned. Ed's going to probably walk the dog too. And we'll be back in just a bit.
Get ready for a season of thrills and excitement. Virginia Beach United invites you to experience the adrenaline of USL League 2 Pro Soccer. Tickets are only $10 for adults, $7 for kids, and children 5 and under are free. It's the perfect family outing filled with fun and entertainment. Secure your seats now for a season of unforgettable soccer moments with Virginia Beach United. Don't miss out.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
Pain and Gain, your one-stop shop for all things field hockey. Located in Princess One Shopping Center, Virginia Beach, we carry everything you need on the turf, from black sticks, turf shoes, mouth guards, and much more. Try out your stick before you buy in our synthetic turf area. Pain and Gain. Embrace the pain, enjoy the game.
Get ready for a season of thrills and excitement. Virginia Beach United invites you to experience the adrenaline of USL League 2 Pro Soccer. Tickets are only $10 for adults, $7 for kids, and children 5 and under are free. It's the perfect family outing filled with fun and entertainment. Secure your seats now for a season of unforgettable soccer moments with Virginia Beach United. Don't miss out.
And now back to Matthew Hatfield and that evil basketball coach. Blast you, Ed Young!
And we're back here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel on Cova Sports TV, wherever you're watching on the web, be it through YouTube, listening on Apple and Spotify, VirginiaPreps.com, X or Twitter as they call it, Instagram. We're up there as well here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. If you have a question or comment you want to chime in, you're always welcome to interact with us. Drop us whatever's on your mind in the world of sports. I just had actually someone send me a message too, by the way. They wanted to know, before we get to our interview clip, we got one of the football players will pop up here in a moment and also do our latest installment of Buy or Sell. They asked me, has Ed Young retired? So I guess they've been away, didn't hear the news. So you can, I guess, drop that to folks that are wondering what your status is. Go ahead.
In the teaching field, as of July 1st, I will be retired in teaching. Not due to my own decision, which is what it was for me in teaching. I am no longer coaching at Nansemond River High School. My assistant of the past 3 years, Joe Hassell, has been named the new head coach, which I'm excited for Joe and the players. I will not comment much on me not getting the job back because too many different emotions are still running through me. Not all of them good. In fact, none of them good. My desire to coach is still strong. I still feel I can make a difference. I still feel I'm competitive enough. I still feel I have the energy to work. I still feel I outwork 3/4 of the people in the business who are way, way younger than me. And what I don't know, I'm still learning in the game. So I can't say it any more concise, more out of my mouth than somebody else's. I want to coach. It's just a matter of finding the right fit out there. And I have put it out to numerous people in times. If there is a basketball job open and somebody wants to win, somebody wants their kids treated right and given more than just on the court, talk to me. I am available, but I'm not just taking any job. That I think I've earned the right to be real picky and choosy. So, no, I have not retired from coaching unless nobody wants me. If nobody wants you, you can't keep on coaching. I'll have to do something a little different in the game of basketball. But, yes, I still want to coach. And hopefully if those people that listen to this and hear it, pass it on to those in the know. If somebody has a job out there, call me. My number is public. Email me. It's public. Let my other agent, Hatfield, know it's public. It'll be public once he knows. But that's the latest.
Okay, so there you have it. And if you missed anything on that a couple months ago or a month ago, if you've been, I don't want to say living under a rock, living in a cave, you can read more about it on VirginiaPreps.com. Also in the Suffolk News Herald. And we had on the new coach, your former JV coach, who you did mention you're excited about, and Joe Hassell. Our interview with him is also available up on VirginiaPreps.com. If you missed it on the podcast 2 weeks ago, I think it was the day of the Phil Simms Battle at the Beach. So if you go back on our other tab on Virginia Preps, or if you're on Cova Sports TV, that was the May 11th episode. We had Philip on May the 4th, and we had somebody else on of note that same day. besides Philip. I'm drawing a blank on who it was. But anyways, always archived up there on Cova Sports TV, different things. We have some more high school football sound, Ed. We have another clip to share with the audience. One of the athletes that's being highly recruited from the class of 2025 from the Eastern District. Who are we hearing from now?
We're going to hear from Maury's Kendall Daniels, whose position escapes me right now.
He plays everything. He's an athlete. That's why he's a free safety, quarterback, do it all.
He's wherever the ball is at. Kendall Daniels will be there.
Right.
So let's see what Kendall had to say when he was speaking with this guy who is not around the ball all the time. He's as far away from the ball as
I'm
possible.
on the ball. I'm on the ball. I don't need to be around it. I'm on it.
Because he played too many football games without a helmet, and that's why he is like he is now. But anyways, let's see what Mr. Daniels had to say with Matt Hatfield here on Cova Sports TV.
I'm here with the Maury class of 2025 athlete Kendall Daniels from the reigning Class 5 state champion Commodores as they're gearing up for the season, and it'll be here before you know it. Kendall, in late August, you're going to be a senior now. How does it feel that you've got a ring on your finger and all kinds of schools are clamoring to try to get you?
Hey, it feels great. Being a senior this year, I got to lead the team back to a back-to-back state championship game.
Tell me about that feeling last December, how it felt to get redemption after your freshman and sophomore years. You guys were so close. I know some injuries came in. You played some really good teams, obviously. When you play that level, you're playing the Highland Springs as the Stonebridge of the world, but you finished it off 15-0 and had to be proud of what you did. You're hungry for more, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I definitely want to win another one, and it felt great. Winning it with my boy Bond, Vontae Floyd, Josh Powell, Fred Johnson, it felt great. My dogs, they lost 3 in a row, so it was only right we go get in one for them before they leave.
And, of course, you weren't healthy during your state championship the year before, but 5 interceptions last year, did it on defense and offense a season ago. What do you think was difference in your game from sophomore to junior year?
Well, nothing different. I played my role. Coach put me in a position to make plays. So I had to do what I had to do to win my team, win a state championship game.
Sure. Recruiting-wise, what are you up to now? 25, 30-plus offers? I've lost count at this point.
Yeah,
what are you standing at?
I'm at 30, 35 plus.
It's got to be pretty sweet and gratifying. Now, I know you put out a while back, you had a top 8, and you also had like a commitment date. Give us an update on where you stand right now. Is it still a top 8, a top 4? Is there a favorite? Is there a commitment date? Where are you right now?
Commitment date coming soon.
Coming soon, okay. Well, tell us what schools are in the picture for you. Give me a few schools that are high on your list that you're considering right now. I know you'd mentioned in your top 8, you had schools like, I hate leaving people out, but you had like Virginia, Texas A&M, Penn State, South Carolina. Where are we right now with some of the schools that you're considering? Who's in there?
Same school still in there.
Okay.
Some coaches building up. Some coaches going down.
Okay. What coaches have you been talking to a lot lately? Anybody in particular? Have you visited some schools lately? Give me a couple schools you've talked to lately.
I've been talking to South Carolina, Virginia Tech, Duke, Miami. It's still open. Okay. All the coaches still testing me.
Let's talk a little bit about some of those schools. I know you mentioned Duke. You got a teammate, Devontae Floyd, that's down there. Coach Zahn is there from the 7-7. What do you think about Duke?
Duke is a very great program. The new head coach, Manny. Yeah, they're building something down there.
Sure. Tell me about South Carolina. I know you know Coach Gray pretty well, and they've got a guy from your team as well, and Fred J.R. Johnson, right?
Yeah, both of my boys been telling me good things about the colleges they at.
Okay.
And I feel like got to keep exploring.
Sure. You mentioned Virginia Tech as well, in-state school. The Hokies have gotten some people from Maury before. What's the feel with them and Coach Pryor and company?
Yes, sir. Coach Pryor, Coach Mines, Coach Pilo, they all building something down there. Like, they went for 3-8 to, I don't know, like 7-6, winning the bowl game.
Sure.
So they really down there building. Building the program up.
I think you mentioned as well, you mentioned Penn State. Is that correct? Did you mention them? I know Keandre Lambert played there. Now he's going to Auburn, but Coach Poindexter's there. Tell me what you think about the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, Coach Poindexter, he's a great defensive coordinator, safeties coach. He developed good safety like Joey Porter and them. They're good.
Come on, let you run, Kendall. When someone gets Kendall Daniels, a football player, what are they getting? Tell them what you're getting.
Getting a dog, a leader, a person that's a team player, will make some plays for you.
Now, you're listed as athlete. You play some safety. You play some quarterback. Do you have a preference in college, and what are you hearing mostly from the schools?
College, I'm playing safety.
Playing safety is what you're hearing? Okay, Leslie. And then lastly, this coming year, what are you looking to accomplish in terms of individual and your skills to help your team try to get a state championship?
So I try to beat Coach McCain. So he had 10 picks and like 1,500 plus yards on offense. So I'm trying to beat Coach McCain. Beat Coach McCain, and the team go back to back.
There you go. He's going for Coach McCain's numbers to set some records himself at Maury High School and get a ring before he goes to college. Kendall Daniels. KD, thank you so much.
All right, that was Kendall Daniels with us on 757 Saturday Sports Talk, Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, wherever you may be tuning in. We thank you for doing so. Last season, first team All-State had 26 tackles, 9 pass breakups, 5 INTs. First team All-State coming off what was a pretty nasty injury He tore his ACL, I think it was, end of his sophomore campaign, and we talked about that last week when Messiah DeLome, his injury from Warwick, and the year before that he had 1,000-plus yards, didn't get a chance to play in a state championship game as a sophomore, but last year getting the ring as Maury tries to go back-to-back, and he'll play some offense. He'll be a big-time factor on defense. He's got an interesting list with that top 8. Alabama was in there, Virginia Tech, A&M, Penn State, Miami, Duke, South Carolina. Pretty wide open, he said, and you can understand why, but it feels like, first of all, Manny Diaz and Duke making a real imprint in the 7-5-7. As you know, he's got Zon Burton on his staff, which we talked about. In South Carolina, with not Frank Beamer, but Shane, the son, they're getting some guys, and they got his teammate Fred Johnson. So you would think in a top 8 that it has, I almost want to call them blue bloods like they have in basketball, the Bamas of the world, the Penn States of the world, the Miamis of the world, that Duke and South Carolina would have next to no shot. But it feels like they have shots at him, and he's still pretty wide open when he was expected to make his decision a little while ago, and now still up in the air. So,
well, I think like a South Carolina Duke don't quite have as many 4 or 5-star guys as your Alabamas, your Georgias, your Ohio States, those type of teams. So a youngster who's looking to get instant burn, get some notoriety quick, I think you're going to look at them. South Carolina's in the SEC. It's the best conference by far in football. Duke has really come on over the last few years playing in the ACC. And, of course, it's very hard. Let's not forget, it's not just your basketball, your football skills to get you into school. Your academics is number one. And Duke is one of the best in the country in terms of requirements to get in academically. So if that part's not a problem, somebody like Daniels would be wrong not to look at a Duke hard or a South Carolina hard. And instead of saying you want to join an Alabama group, how about I'm going to play against them and make a mark against them, showing them why you should have signed me, and if you did, why I should have been the number one at my position.
Are you ready to play some buy or sell to close out this latest installment?
Let me check my pockets, see if I got a credit card, see if I got a few George Washingtons.
You always got George Washingtons.
I got some Abe Lincolns. I got a bottle of Abe Lincolns. I can use those.
Yeah, you can use those. Why not?
All right,
We'll fire up a little music to go with it here on this edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. The little we call it our bamboo groove. There you go. That's my Memorial Day.
I want one of these days. I want to see your butt on the piano and give us a little bit of finger music while we're doing
it right now. Let me go back and do it right now.
You know, I'm not talking.
I go right back there. Piano.
Yeah.
I go back there.
Go through the trap door. The trap door is going. Go through the trap door to the piano. That's what the world wants to see.
They want to see it.
How many people listening right now? Put on in the chat line or whatever. I want to see Hatfield play the piano. Put it up there. Let's see how many people want to do it. Let's force his hand, so to speak, to get on that piano, because he doesn't know one iota of playing the piano other than bang, bang, bang. Chopsticks, maybe.
Did you say chopstick? What'd you say?
That's the only thing you know how to play on the piano is chopsticks. You don't even know that song.
You're going back to the Arthur Spooner episode of King of Queens.
That's the greatest. That's one of the absolute greatest. He told the kids warm up. He warmed up. Okay, that was your lesson.
The Yang twins, the Yang sisters, or something. Oh, it was classic.
Unbelievable. And then he lifted up the bench where he said, you talk to the bench or whatever.
Yeah.
It's classic. If you're not a King of Queens fan, be one. Get the episode where Arthur is teaching the kids how to play the piano.
I'm going to look for an episode today now just because you said that. I'm going to look for it.
Oh, my God. You've never seen it? Classic.
Oh, absolutely. Great. But I'm going to look for it to watch it again.
Yeah, you got to watch it.
That show, a lot like Everybody Loves Raymond. My favorite episode from Everybody Loves Raymond was the one where Frank Barone, Peter Boyle, the actor who's no longer with us, got Man of the Year. And they go to the pool, or not his lodge, it was his pool. And everybody didn't have anything good to say about Frank Barone. They changed it to say, well, why don't we ask a different question? Robert, which is Brad Garrett, and Raymond, which is obviously Ray Romano, who the character's about. they changed the question to say, what do you think about chocolate? And then they start telling he's delicious and he's really good and all this stuff. And he says, what's up with Corelli saying he likes me hot with marshmallows? So anyways, let's get to buy or sell. Yeah, nobody thinks I can play the piano. They don't want to see. They don't care about that. Buy or sell, question number 1. I'll let you read it.
The Mets have played 3 separate games in which they've led by 3 or more runs in the past week. Will they blow another before the calendar turns to June? I'm going to tell you right now, if they blow one more, Frank the Tank is going to blow a gasket and be flatlined on Instagram or whatever.
So will Jerry the Vendor, by the way, our buddy. But go ahead.
Yeah. Will the Mets blow another 3+ run? It's 3+ run, right? If they get up 3 or more, will they blow another game of that before we get into June?
Well, here's the key. How many games do they have left before the month of June? They play one today, and I was prepared to say I'm selling this. However, have you seen their schedule the rest of this month?
What do they have? Who do they have?
Well, let's go back to last Saturday. They lost a 10-9 game to the Marlins in extra innings, in which they led in that particular baseball game, Ed, 5-2. They led they didn't lead 5-2. They led, I'll take that back. Excuse me. Let me backtrack. They led 7-2 and 9-5 in the 9th inning before giving up 4 in the 9th and losing 10-9 in the 10th. They lost a 3-run lead to the Cleveland, no longer Indians, now Guardians, and that was a 3-0 lead on Wednesday in a 6-3 loss to the Guards. Got swept away by the AL Central leading Guards under the management of Stephen Vogt, who took over for Terry Francona. Had a day off, so you wiped that slate clean. You lost 2 or 3 to the Marlins. You played the San Francisco Giants last night. Yeah, you know, Ed, that the Giants came to New York last night? They might have got to go with the New York Giants and had a picnic.
I was just wondering, if San Francisco Giants come to New York, do they ever call
the New York
players
Giants
from the New York Giants and get together?
The giant relay race, picnic. Anyways, 8-7 was the loss for the Mets in a game that they had another lead in. Edwin Diaz didn't blow it like he did last Saturday, the formerly great closer of the Mets. It was instead Reed Garrett who dropped to 5-2, as the Mets could not turn their 5-2 lead going into the 7th, their 6-2 lead going into the 8th, into a victory because they squandered it by giving up 5 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th, got 1 in the bottom of the 9th, and did with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 9th. Frank the Tank erupted. So here's their schedule coming up. They play the Giants again today, which I think they'll bounce back. Generally, a team, they're going to bounce back like they did last Sunday. I think they'll bounce back. Then it's Hello Kitty, light up Bo bobblehead day, and then they host the Giants for 3 and host my D-backs for 2. So I was going to sell this, but I'm going to buy this because it is very easy to blow a 3-run lead against the Dodgers, and even my D-backs with the great Ketel Marte up top, they could do some damage. So I'm gonna buy this. Yes, they'll blow another one. They got one more coming. They got one more in them before they turn the calendar to June.
You just want to see Frank the Tank.
Oh, I do. I don't root it for our man Jerry and other Mets fans out there. My brothers, they're big Mets fans. I don't root for that, but I hope my D-backs can get a nice comeback win on them. I'll take that.
I'm going to sell it.
You're going to sell it?
They're not going to blow a 3+ lead the rest of May. They're not going to do it.
You don't know the Mets like I do.
They may get bombed out 10-0 in a game or 2, but they're not going to get up 5-1 and lose.
Who you trusting to get that last out because Diaz isn't closing the door? Who you trusting? He ain't trusting Garrett now. He's overworked him.
Well, either the closer Diaz got to wake up and do something, or
you're going to trade for Craig Kimbrell from the Orioles. What's going on?
Craig Kimbrell from the Orioles. Woo! That'd be crazy.
Ed's selling it. I'm buying it. Next one. There will be at least one sweep in either the NBA or NHL's conference finals. Now, there's 4 conference final series going on, and we'll actually flash them across our ticker now for those that have been paying attention this morning or in general. NHL, you see the Rangers even up their series with Florida, so there will not be a sweep in that series with the Panthers as they rebounded from the 3-0 loss on home ice in Game 1. Meanwhile, the other series is getting ready for Game 2 tonight. which is your Western Conference Finals, with Ed's Dallas Stars, who he picked to win the whole thing, against my Edmonton Oilers, who I picked to win the whole thing. We both have the Eastern Conference Final being won by the Rangers, and I'm not going to get off that yet, although Florida's very, very good. I'm not doubting them. And in the NBA, you have a 2-love lead for the Celtics over the Pacers, Game 3 tonight. 2-love lead for the Mavs going home to Big D in the Lone Star State with Game 3 tomorrow night on TNT. What do you think? Will there be at least one sweep to put a team into the NHL Stanley Cup final or the NBA final?
Well, the easy one to say is going to be Boston over Indy, but I think Indy's going to get a win. Minnesota's definitely going to get a win. Indy should get a win.
So that leaves you with a hockey.
Well, in the hockey, you're talking about the the championship round?
Well, right now, your pick is – no, this is the conference finals. Your pick, the Dallas Stars, trail my pick, the Edmonton Oilers, 1 game to love. So you would not say there's going to be a sweep there based on your pick. And if you got off your pick that fast, I would razz you until the end of time. And even Vinny would spit his strawberries out at you and say –
Vinny would he would be
disown you.
Yeah, he's keeping the eye on you, though, because if you say the wrong language, there is a fine print in the contract. I get money from you. I'm saying I'm going to sell it. There will be no sweeps anywhere.
I'm going to buy.
I'll even go into the championship rounds of NBA and NHL. Ooh. No sweeps.
You're going no sweeps there. Well, I'm not sure that we'll get a sweep in either one of those, so I might be with you on that. All right, our next one. So Ed is
whoa. So I'm selling, but you're buying it.
I'm buying. Yeah, I think there's going to be one. I think it's going to be Celtics Pacers. Now I will say this: I'm going to take my chances in the NBA than the NHL because I do not think there will be one in the Edmonton Dallas series. Though I think Edmonton will win the series in 6 or 7. I think the Rangers Florida's going to go 7, and I like the Rangers with Shesterkin in goal for Game 7. Like their special teams. Like their goaltending, I think they find a way. They did that in Game 6 against Carolina, beat the Hurricanes. The NBA, though, Dallas has got 2 at home, and if they win Game 3, Minnesota's done. And if Boston wins Game 3 tonight against the maybe Halliburton-less Pacers, we shall see, they probably are done. So I got a shot. I got a 50-50 shot in the NBA deal, I think. We shall see. All right, question number 3 in buy or sell. Go ahead, Ed, read it.
Indy 500 pole sitter Scott McLaughlin will win the race as the odds favorite to do so at plus 450.
All right, break it down for us, Ed. I know you know the Indy 500 like the back of your hand. What do you think?
Give me Mario Andretti.
He's not racing in this one. I hate to break it to you.
Dang.
Not racing.
I have to ask a question to answer a question. When's the last time, maybe Nick, if he's listening, a pole setter for the Indy 500 won the race? Is it recent? Has it been a while?
The last pole sitter was a year ago.
And they won. Who was it? And they won the race?
Paganel. I think he won it. Wasn't it last year? He won it. Paganel. Simon. Oh no, he did it. He did it back in. I think he did it in 2019 or 2016. Simon Paganel or Pagano, however you say it. I think he did it.
Couldn't pick him out of a lineup with
the last pole sitter to win the Indy 500.
Right, he was.
Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
Don't think McLaughlin does it, so I'm going to have to sell it.
I'm going to actually sell this as well, but can I give you this little analysis because you know I've been studying up on my my Indy 500 here. I do think that one of his racing teammates will win this. I don't think he'll win it, but I think he will be highly in the mix. And I do think that one of the Roger Penske teammates will get the W. And it could very well be, as I look at the mix here for this, it could be Joseph Newgarden or Will Power. How about Kyle Larson, by the way? He's plus 700. He's fourth on the list. So I do think it's very possible. You got Power and Newgarden are next to him. And, Newgarden won it last year. He had that controversial finish last year that gave Penske their record 19th win. So a little bit of scrutiny. I don't know if you've been following it closely. I'm into it. Like I said, I'm into the Indy 500. I've never been in the Indy 500, but I'm into it. Throw a couple shekels down, watch it. It's a fun race. So there you have it. You're not taking McLaughlin. You're selling it like me. Ed is now staring off into his phone, and he's lost complete interest in his show.
No, it's not I'm trying to pull up the odds, and
I can send them to you.
No, you take too long. I got to look for the right.
Take too long. Well, you're taking.
There's the guy I want. Right there's the guy I want. He's 6. Will Power. Give me the power.
You were listening. He's a teammate of his, Will Power.
Yeah, but I'm going with Will Power.
You have a lot of willpower over there.
Oh, there's my Andretti guy, Marco, grandson of the famous.
You want to go with him? He's plus 6,000. $10 wins you 610.
I'm going to drop 10 on Marco Andretti.
You'll be out of $10. Would you like to read the next one, or have me read the next one? Go ahead.
All right. Let me get it here. With former president and Matt Hatfield electee Donald Trump expected to.
I didn't elect him. Whoa! Don't go there. Hold on, buddy. No. That's the only person who can allow him is the big guy. You know who the big guy is.
He's a massive guy. This big, powerful guy. This guy he is a monster. A giant of a man. One really large person. I've seen a lot of people over the years. Big people.
I have a friend, big guy, one of the biggest in the world. This big, strong friend of mine who weighed like 250 then, which 250 then is big. That's like 310 now, right? This was a long time ago.
Anyways, go ahead. The big guy has to like them. Don't put words in my mouth. Listen, I'm not going to do a political spiel, but I just say we got to get bigger candidates to the table, and I ain't going to just include or exclude him. But go ahead, continue on.
Who is Trump's big guy? He talks of this.
I don't know. The big guy. Go ahead.
Yeah, all right. With Trump expected to attend Sunday's Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway, race favorite Kyle Larson will achieve a top 5 finish after racing at Indy. So he's going to race it at the Indy 500 in Indianapolis. Then he's going to race down to Charlotte to jump into the 600.
Yeah. What do you think?
Now, I don't know what Trump has to do with any of this, whether he's
there. Yeah, he's going to be there.
Larson, he's the favorite of it too.
Yeah.
Pray to God no injuries occur in any of the racing all over the place.
I'm buying this. I'm all in.
Yeah, a top 5. We're not saying he's going to win it. He's a top 5 finisher. I think so. I buy it too. Top 5 finisher.
Kyle Larson's going to get the job done. No, he's going to finish top 5. I think he's going to win it. You heard that, Nick. Tell me I'm wrong. The NASCAR analysis right there. This is a track that suits him well. He's going to be ready to go. He's not going to be fatigued at all from the Indy 500.
Give me Joey Logano for the Coca-Cola 600.
Okay. And then we have one more. Go ahead.
There are 11 Major League Baseball games being played on Memorial Day this year. We will see at least one Grand Slam hit. Guarantee I'm buying it 1,000%.
Really?
Somebody's going yard with the bases loaded. Yes.
Well, the Pirates had a guy hit a Grand Slam, I think, on Thursday. I'm drawing a blank on who it was. His name's escaping me, and I do apologize.
It was Cruz, the shortstop.
It wasn't Cruz. No, it wasn't O'Neill Cruz. It was Joey. You know what it was? It was Joey Bart.
Oh, Joey Bart.
They lost that game to the San Francisco Giants. By the way, the Pirates, 3 straight games with the Giants. The team was up 3 or 4 runs or more and lost each game. It wasn't always them. They lost 2 of them. I think the Giants lost 1 of them. Weird occurrence. And then last Monday or Tuesday, I think it was last Monday night, my D-backs unfortunately gave up a grand salami to Freddie Freeman and the Dodgers, but we did bounce back and win the next 2 games. You're going to buy this? I'm going to sell this. I'm going to say there will not be a grand slam hit on Memorial Day. Take my chances on it. And the loser has to buy the other one a hot dog.
No, because I win this. I don't want a hot dog.
All right, how about a hamburger? How about a hamburger for you? I'll have the hot dog.
Okay, I'll take a hamburger. Absolutely.
We'll see what happens. That's our gentleman's agreement. And that concludes buy or sell, even though I concluded it last segment. And that's going to wrap up this latest show.
We're done already?
Yeah, we're done.
All right, we got it. We definitely going to have to hammer Mr. Chris Montour. Now, let me just say this: it could be if he overslept. Now, if it's a more serious issue, and all bets are off because you got to take care of a serious issue. But if he overslept because of the nightlife in Minnesota after their
wait, we just got a text. He totally spaced out, had his phone in another room charging. So sorry about that. If you want to do something next week, that'd be fine. So we will tell him next week should be fine. Though we have what's his face too? Tim Kirk. What's his face? What's his face? That's going to help Tim come on the show, right? What's his face?
We get a national guy who's canceled out 3 other interviews to come on with us, and you call him what's his face.
Thank you, Woody. And if you're missing the show, whether you're like Woody or other people there, if you want to go back and watch it again, we did have a special guest on the show in Jason Burton talking baseball with us. You can go back and hear what he had to say about some of the baseball contenders like Ocean Lakes, like Cox, like Western Branch. Our interviews with Jaden Dabbs of Oscar Smith, the Army commit, as well as Kendall Daniels from Maury, who's soon to be committed somewhere. We don't know yet. You can go back and check it out. We will get Chris Monter on next week or in the future. So there you have it. Tim Kirchin's going to be our special guest next week, and we'll have more teams closing in on championships in spring sports as we flip the calendar from May to June. Have a happy and safe Memorial Day weekend. Remember what we remember it for, and enjoy your hot dog-less weekend there, Sir Cranky, who doesn't believe in giving out Halloween candy or eating hot dogs on Memorial Day. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Don't eat hot dogs any day of the year.
Mac salad or something.
Don't believe in Halloween at all. And I'll come up with some other tidbits later. But be safe. And again, in all seriousness, to all those who have fought in the wars, who have given up for the country, let alone those who have not able to come back. To those families, thank you. We all thank you. Bottom of our heart. It's stuff I know I couldn't do. And those people have shaped this country. So we appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you next week here on Cova Sports TV 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Have a great one, everyone.